Hello there and welcome to another Masterclass Monday. So today's topic will be looking at the daunting world of devising. So devising itself is a huge topic. So today's video is going to be the first in a series which is going to look at sort of various aspects of devising. So as mentioned before, devising can be an incredibly daunting genre of theatre for newcomers to step into. It's filled with a great deal of uncertainty. It can challenge a lot of the ideals that we sort of normally consider to be, I suppose, concrete theatrical principles, and it can sometimes leave us feeling very unsure of the quality of our work. But when done well, devising is an amazing practice to be involved in and can produce some of the most exciting work you'll ever perform, and some of the work which you'll be able to feel most involved with and passionate about and proud of when considering the end result. So, without further ado, here are some tips and tricks to help you get started when at the very, very beginning of devising a performance. So devising is at its most difficult when you're starting from a point of complete blank. If you're being hired by someone or you're doing this as part of an academic project, then you may already have a stimulus or topic given to you. But even then, if you find that you're in a position where you're going to be making up your own brief, or your brief is asking for a sort of greater specificity, then it's a useful exercise, and if anything, it's key to research around the brief or topic that has inspired you. Wanting to make a performance about the nature of writing a novel, for example, look at what other writers have said about writing. Look at pictures, photographs, paintings of novelists at work. Read about what novelist spouses have to say about what it's like to be married to or in a relationship with a novelist. These will start to throw up some further inspiration. You'll find points of interest. And so, for example, and I'm making this up entirely, your research might highlight that actually isolation is a huge part of what being a novelist is about. So isolation from co-workers, isolation from reality, from your own family. And the greater specificity of examining that will give you a clearer avenue or journey for your performance to go on. So it can be a common trap to fall into when devising something, to come up with what your performance is about, then to sit down and just try and write a play in the moment. And this isn't going to work, because writing plays is just not that easy, and also you're ignoring all of the strengths and all of the fun of devising. Instead, get up and start doing. Don't just sit and talk about the various things you could try. Get up and try them. Do it. You'll be able to pull your text from the doing, and more on that next week. But that's not to say you won't be crafting a story. You know, many devised performances in their final forms can actually look very much like naturalistic plays, whereas others may find themselves being more conceptual. You know, both are amazing. Just avoid trapping yourself into a situation where you're trying to sit down and be a playwright in a day rather than devising a performance. So this can feel counterintuitive when you're used to very structured rehearsals, but the next thing to do, to be honest, is just play some games. Got some amazing striking images from your research? Have a go at recreating them with freeze frames. If you've got a fascinating quote from your research about the nature of being trapped together and feeling like you're in each other's way, then try improvising a physical and dramatic scene in which you all have to occupy a 1 metre by 1 metre square. You know, your research into making a show, for example, about a novelist, highlights that they use people as props for their creations. Then make a scene in which half of your cast operate as the various props around the characters talking. You know, looking at isolation from reality. You know, play with the idea of someone obliviously doing incredibly mundane things as the scene around them erupts into chaos. Start playing. It can feel really pressurising that you use every second in lessons or rehearsals to produce material for the final product, but it's okay to play, it's good to play. You're never going to create a perfect scene or even the bare bones of a scene every time or at the start. In devising in particular, it's just not possible, and playing these games will instead help you find the seeds of how you might present your performance later on. It's a key step, and fight the pressure and make sure you give yourself that time to play. So I think it was Frantic Assembly who said the invaluable quote, Limitations breed creativity, and in this they are completely right. In your improvisations, in gameplay, it's important to tackle rules, because improvising a scene where there are limitless, endless options is, to be honest, is nightmarishly difficult for pro improvisers, let alone anyone else. So set rules. If you're exploring the nature of self-centeredness, improvise a scene where one of the performers must only talk about themselves or link the discussion back to them, and the other performer must try to get them interested in another topic. If it's about isolation, improvise a scene where two performers are trying to build something together in the middle of a space but cannot ever be doing the same action at the same time or be too close to each other. So these rules will be what helps you create something interesting, as opposed to limitless creativity, making you feel quite lost. When you finish activities, improvisations, or your research, you've got to talk. It's important to talk about what you've just done. Talk to each other about what parts you thought were interesting or may want to retread. And it's important to not just talk about the what, what did you like, what was good, but also the why. Why was this interesting? If you all agree it was good, why was it good? You're each other's audience in this. You're not making this in isolation, so use each other, talk, pick apart everything. Are things feeling really stilted and awkward to begin with? Do not sweat it. Devising a project is one of those things that will just get easier with time. It's always hard to get started, but much like any project, the important thing is to get started. Keep working on it, finding those points of inspiration, and you will do fine. It's really daunting to try and devise a performance when your eyes are on the final product, but at the start, you're following your own points of interest and you're playing games to find what interests you. You're not trying to make a final product yet, so don't worry about where it's going to be going just now. So that's all for today. I hope these have been helpful to listen to, and I wish anyone who is starting their own devising projects sometime soon the best of luck. It really is an amazing way to create theatre, so enjoy it. And if anyone has any ideas or advice of their own, please do chime in the comments. And equally, if you have any questions, do shout about them down below. Make sure to tune into next week's Masterclass as we tackle one of the most difficult steps for new devisers, which is changing all those games, improvisations, and all of that into text and material. So as always, stay safe, stay positive. As always, stay safe, stay positive, and we'll see you soon.